Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. How did this happen? He's been quoted saying, "I'm too much of a competitor and I've got too much pride to form a super team." Yet here he is forming one with arguably the best player in the league. Stick around because we're about to uncover the untold truth and full timeline behind Dame Time's departure. Damian Lillard has given his all to the Blazers the past 11 years, and what does he have to show for it? Sure, he's got a whole highlight reel of amazing plays and clutch shots, but in the pantheon of NBA greats, there's one common denominator: championships. And now, with the Milwaukee Bucks, Lillard has his best chance to etch his name in basketball lore. If you're a Blazers fan, you're probably a little upset. If you're a basketball fan, it's a dream come true. The Lillard-Giannis pick and roll is going to be one of the scariest plays in the NBA, and we're excited to see them team up. You see, Damian Lillard's been hinting at his desire to play alongside a contender for quite some time. In fact, when asked to name his ideal teammate, he didn't hesitate to name Giannis Antetokounmpo. And now, Lillard's prayers were answered. On July 1st, it was officially confirmed that Lillard had requested a trade from the Blazers. This move didn't come as a surprise to many, considering his longing for a championship ring and the fact that Portland's current roster didn't seem to provide the best opportunity for that. Lillard had his sights set on Miami initially, but Portland decided not to grant his request. Instead, they struck a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. So what led to Damian Lillard's departure from the Trailblazers? In 2021, after a tough playoff loss to the Denver Nuggets, Damian Lillard found himself questioning the commitment of the Blazers organization. It wasn't about the loss itself, but rather if they cared as much as he did. This marked a turning point for Lillard. The organization that once valued his input on everything from player moves to practice times suddenly fell short. Lillard expressed his concerns first privately, then subtly in public, protecting himself from potential backlash. He believed the Blazers should have provided more support with the roster. This feeling intensified as he witnessed PJ Tucker clinch a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks in July 2021. Despite consecutive losing seasons for the Blazers, Lillard initially remained publicly committed to Portland. Later that year, on an episode of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, he even stated that "I would never join a super team," stating the pressure to form them comes from the NBA's obsession with championships and how players are disrespected for never winning one. In fact, he's always been vocal about his disdain for superstars teaming up. When in 2020, after a tough loss in the bubble, he tweeted to Paul George, "Keep switching teams and running from the grind. You boys is chumps." However, all those losing seasons and the thought of how he wanted his legacy to be remembered would start to wear on him. Before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. You see, Lillard's time in Portland has been nothing short of legendary. He's been the heart and soul of the team for over a decade. But despite his incredible efforts, the Blazers' playoff success has been limited. In his 11 seasons, they've only managed to win 4 playoff series and made it to the Western Conference Finals just once. This past season, they finished with a record of 33-49, missing the playoffs for the second year in a row. Now, let's be clear, this isn't on Lillard. His career average of 25.2 points per game puts him in an elite category, ranking 11th among all players in NBA history with at least 500 games under their belt. I mean, the guy's dropped 50 points or more in a game 17 times. 2 of those times were in the playoffs, mind you. That's clutch performance right there. How would you feel if you'd consistently given 100% to a franchise for over a decade and still had no hardware to show for it? On May 16, 2023, the Portland Trail Blazers found themselves in an unexpected position in the NBA draft lottery. They'd secured the 3rd pick, something they only had a 10.6% chance of doing. They had to make a crucial decision. Do they go for an elite prospect in the draft, or do they trade that pick for a seasoned veteran to support their superstar and go for one final title run? And on June 22nd, their decision was made. The Blazers chose point guard Scoot Henderson with the 3rd overall pick. This move not only solidified the Blazers' future backcourt alongside last year's first-round pick Shaedon Sharpe, but it also sent a clear message to Damian Lillard: "We're moving on without you." General Manager Joe Cronin believed that the selection of Henderson could have a more significant impact than any potential trade for a veteran player. He was confident in Henderson's potential and saw him as a key building block for the team's future. What's even more intriguing is the financial aspect. Henderson, being on a rookie-scale contract, allows the Blazers to build more depth in their roster, something that might not have been possible otherwise. So what did this mean for Lillard? It was clear that the Blazers were already prepared for his inevitable departure. It all started with a viral clip from Lillard's podcast with Showtime, where he was asked about his preferred teams if he were to be traded. In that clip, Damian made it clear that Miami and Brooklyn were the obvious choices for him. Not only would both teams become immediate contenders with him, he has close friends on both teams, with Bam Adebayo in Houston and Mika Bridges in Brooklyn. Then, on July 1st, 2023, Damian Lillard officially requested a trade out of Rip City. He had his sights on teaming up with Jimmy Buckets and the Heat. By this point, this announcement didn't surprise anybody. The Athletic's Sam Amick had consistently placed the Heat as Lillard's top choice. Lillard has also piqued the interest of other NBA teams, including the Philadelphia 76ers, LA Clippers, and Utah Jazz. Portland Trail Blazers general manager Neil Olshey expressed his commitment to keeping Lillard on the team, but the Blazers' actions over the past year told a different story. Olshey stated, "We've been clear that we want Dame here, but he notified us today he wants out and he'd prefer to play someplace else. What's not changed for us is that we're committed to winning and we're going to do what's best for the team in pursuit of that goal." By this point, Dame had had enough of the disrespect, and finally, after a long summer of endless trade rumors, on September 27, 2023, it was officially announced that Damian Lillard was now a Milwaukee Buck, forming yet another super team in a now stacked Eastern Conference. And there you have it, folks. The Damian Lillard trade to the Milwaukee Bucks is undoubtedly one of the most significant moves in recent NBA history. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this trade unfolds and its impact on both teams, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay updated with all the latest NBA news and analysis.